Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have another quick video for you. Today we're talking about money. Specifically, why do professional photographers tend to charge so much, and for those of us in Jamaica, why do most professional photographers tend to charge in US dollars? I mean, we're in Jamaica, so why charge in US? Those questions are answered right after the intro. Now, there are several factors that are taken into consideration when the professional photographer is making up their price list or deciding on what to charge for a job. And I think the most important factor is the gear that they use. I mean, if you use a very expensive camera with expensive accessory and you couple that with your knowledge, your training and your experience, then you want to ensure that by the time you go through the life of your camera, you're able to buy back that camera, cover whatever costs or expenses you would incur in covering those jobs, and still have some money so that you can live your life, because at the end of the day you're working, right? A professional photographer knows that each time you use your camera you're actually spending money. So basically, when you book a photographer to come to your event, for example, it could be a wedding. If that photographer is there to take photos, each time you press the shutter button on your camera, you're actually spending your camera. Consider the shutter of the camera like the mileage on your car. For each mile you drive, it reduces the value of the car, it reduces the lifespan of that car. The same thing for the camera. Each picture you take reduces the value of your camera and reduces the lifespan of that camera. I mean, the cameras they're not infinite. They were not made to last forever. After you get past whatever the total shutter count of that camera is, you're going to need to have your shutter replaced, have your camera replaced, or at least have your camera repaired. For most DSLR cameras, the total shutter count is about 150 to 200,000. So for some of the more expensive cameras, it goes up to about 500,000, which means you're spending more for more shutter actuations basically. As a photographer, when you buy your camera, whatever amount of money you bought that camera for, you need to ensure that whatever amount of photos that camera is able to take before it is depleted, you need to ensure that you work out the math and ensure that by the time that camera is depleted, you would have made enough money to cover the expense of replacing that camera. As a matter of fact, upgrading that camera, because by the time you're finished using that camera, you're going to want a new one. And I don't think most photographers will want to buy back the exact same camera that they have already gone through. So all of that goes into the pricing mechanism and where those very seemingly expensive prices come from. And just to note, I really want to point this out. Did you know that if you charge a potential client a price that is too cheap, a price that they consider too cheap, you will not get the job? So say that's a quick tip. As a professional, your work should not be too cheap. Think about it. If you want to buy a Benz or Audi or a BMW and the price is too affordable, won't you be thinking that something might be wrong with the car? So that it's the same thing for photography. I mean, funny as it might sound, you don't want to come off too cheap because you don't want to send the wrong message. Persons might think your work is no good and that's why it's so affordable. So after you put all of those inside your equation, then it will kind of give you a good idea of what to charge and to still be able to live. So I think that's why most professional photographers tend to charge you a little more. Now, why do amateur photographers charge so cheap? It's very simple. Most amateur photographers don't invest in the best gear. As a matter of fact, they don't even know what the best gear are. And so that when you book a professional, you are getting the best of the best. You're getting knowledge and experience and the best equipment. I mean, you must expect to spend a little bit more, right? And why do most Jamaican photographers charge in US dollars? It's very simple. All the gear, all the equipment, the cameras and the accessories that we buy, that we use to do our job, they are purchased using US dollars. So since our equipment are depreciated using the US currency, it is good to ensure that whatever currency your equipment depreciates in, you want to be charging in that same currency so that you can properly gauge what it's costing you to produce each job. And reason number two is simply because if you're in Jamaica and you create a price package. For example, our currency is kind of weird. I mean, when I say weird, I mean weird in comparison to the US dollars. Say, for example, you charge like 10,000 Jamaican dollars per hour for your work, right? And there's someone coming from, maybe, say, for example, America, coming to Jamaica, who want to book you for an hour. Now, if they ask you, hey, we want to book you for an hour, what's your rate? And you're thinking about that 10,000 Jamaican dollars. If you send them a figure of 10,000 Jamaican dollars, some persons might not understand right off the bat that the exchange rate will make a difference. Yeah, sounds weird, but it's actually true. Some persons will actually think $10,000 is very expensive without even checking the exchange rate. So it is safer to use a more universal currency like the US dollar, so that it kind of break the language barrier where currency and money is concerned. Now, most local persons in Jamaica who's booking a photographer, who might ask for a list of packages and see that it's quoted in US dollars and might have an issue with that. It's clearly because they don't understand, and that's why I'm here trying to explain. And that's it for this video, guys. I hope you like this video. If you do like this video, please give this video a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I'll be making tutorials and training videos about photography every single week and more. Until next time, guys, see you.